You're welcome to the Naija Filmmaker, a podcast about Nigerian filmmakers, their films, and how we can build a diverse and functional industry. I'm your host, Selegot. On this episode, my guest is Ronya Man. She's an actress, acting coach, director, and producer. Since moving to Nigeria in 2015, she has been very active on the theatre scene and has also featured in Nollywood films such as Omo Ghetto, Saga and Rattlesnake. We talk about transcending typecasts, the importance of actors being self-aware, and her career as an acting coach. If you're a new listener, you're welcome and I hope you enjoy. Hi Ronya, you're welcome to the Naija Filmmaker.
Great to be here.
All right, can you introduce yourself?
So my name is Ronya Man. A lot of people are confused by my name. Man is my surname. Yes, okay. I have a very short name, Ronya Man. Ronya means in Yoruba, Oluwatoyosi. Okay. That's my Yoruba name. Okay. I've been living and working in Nigeria since end of 2015.
Okay.
Beginning of 2016. And I came here with a lot of experience in theater and a little bit in film. And so I'm a theater trained actress and director. And then I came here, after coming here and learning about Nollywood, I went to film school in Metfilm, Berlin. And so came back with more knowledge of film and started working here in Nollywood. And so I can say that I'm an acting coach, an actress, an acting coach, a director, and producer. That's basically my experience.
Okay. Nice to have you. So how did you get started in the film industry?
So when I came here, like I said, I first worked in theater because that was my background mainly. I worked in theater for over a decade in Israel before coming here. Yeah. And I directed a play and I gave master classes in acting every 3-4 months and got to know a lot of actors. And then I started working with House 5 Productions on Africa Magic and Iroko TV films as an assistant director.
Okay.
That was great, yeah. And also an acting coach. And that was a great experience because it really immersed me in the industry, in the culture, in the language, the local language, Pidgin English, also local stories. I quickly learned a lot about, the relationships here and like just the culture. Yeah. Even before that, when I was working in Spain, studying performing arts, I had to very quickly learn about the way of life here, area boys, market women. I was co-writing the play.
Yeah.
So within a month, I had so much information given to me. It was amazing. I was blessed to have that experience. And then, of course, also went online and researched a lot about the history of this country. And yeah, I really wanted to get to know it in and out. And I think that really helped me throughout my career here as well. And then from House 5, I went on to do some casting work and a lot of acting work as well. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, you have featured in Omo Ghetto, the Saga, Rattlesnake, and some other films. Like, what do you love about the kind of stories told in Nigeria? Because I guess every country has like something special, unique to them. What are your thoughts about stories that are currently being told in Nigeria?
Well, I think the beautiful thing about filmmaking and storytelling is that essentially humanity. We're all driven by the same emotions and the same stories. A story goes viral when it touches everyone. So the pains, the wants are similar across the world. And that's what, that's what helps me anyway, relate to a lot of the stories that are told here as well. But like you say, there are differences in culture, because the way we address certain pains or certain wants in every culture may differ.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, it's I just take it as it is, I think we're all human beings, and I just look at a story and I feel for that character. That's how it touches me.
Yeah. What drew you to acting, really? Like, how did you end up, starting, your work, like doing stage and then transitioning? Like, what really drew you to acting?
I've been wanting to act since I was a teenager. I mean, I used to watch tons of TV series and just wanting to be like that. And then after my university years, I met an acting teacher. He was my neighbor.
Yeah.
And he said, come into my class. And that was it. I was hooked. He took me under his wing. He turned me into, like, he groomed me to be his successor. So within 2-3 years, I was already directing under his wing, and then just started directing on my own and teaching. It's been my passion forever, ever and ever. I mean, I did it in high school as well.
Yeah.
I did acting in high school. I remember we did a play, Waiting for Godot. It's a classical English play. I did not understand it at all, especially since I'm not Christian. I'm Jewish. And this one is like this was a surreal play about God and all that. It took me a long time to understand it.
Yeah.
But I think that, it's also my passion for literature. I've been writing stories since I was a kid. So everything, together.
Okay. All right. So you mentioned that you're a casting director. What does a casting director do?
Well, I did casting. I do casting. I won't say I'm a casting director because it's not my main core thing.
Yeah.
But I have learned a lot, and I've spoken to a few casting directors, and so I've learned a lot about the way they think and what they look for and how they work. And I can safely say, and obviously, being a casting director, since you said our audience is from across the continents of the US, the UK, and Nigeria,
yeah,
I must say that casting directors work differently in different areas of the world.
Yeah.
And, the US and UK are more systematic in some ways. And then Nigerians have their challenges in some other ways. So it's like, it can differ. But I think it's safe to say that all of them always look for they always want to find the right actor for whatever image the director has in mind.
Yeah.
And they always like to give the benefit of the doubt to you as the actor. So they're looking for an actor that is neutral. Like, come as you are. Don't come as somebody else.
Yeah.
Come as you are. If you fit, great. If you don't, it's all right. You may be fitted for something else that they haven't been looking at the moment. But if you're good, they'll note you down.
Yeah.
And then if you come again and you're good again, they'll note it down. And after a while, they'll find the character that is right for you.
Yeah.
So don't try to be somebody else. That's one thing that nobody likes. And always try to, they always look for a person that they feel confident they can work with.
Yeah.
In terms of working relationships, in terms of credibility and reliability, responsibility, not coming late, not talking back, not being irrespective of production needs and other people's time and challenges or whatever. So you have to be very sensitive to everything that's happening around you as an actor.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that casting directors always looking for, So you always in an audition, they would tell you, "Oh, tell us a little bit about yourself."
Yeah.
There's two reasons and a lot of actors get off, are caught off guard doing that, and they answer the stupidest questions, and I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
It's like an actor would come for an audition and say, "Well, I don't really have much experience in acting." Why are you telling me this? Don't tell me that. I'm not saying cover it up and pretend, make up a whole story about something that you haven't done. But obviously, that would be the first thing you say.
Yeah.
What you would say maybe is, what you're passionate about, or how old you are, or put the focus on other things. What are your strengths? I know languages, or I can do accents, or my brother my brother and I have been doing skits, or something that will catch the attention of the casting director. Now, the other thing is they want to hear your voice, just the tone of your voice, to see if it fits into, whatever they have in mind.
Yeah.
And they want to know if you're a pleasant person, if you smile, if you say hello, if you're courteous.
Yeah.
And I think you should always come with an updated headshot of yourself, not something from 4 years back when your hair was a different color or a different length, and and now you're wearing makeup and in the picture you didn't, or vice versa, whatever. Put your eye contact and come in like looking different,
Yeah.
Just come different.
So like with headshot, for example, let's say you're looking to do more films in a particular genre. Is that a way your headshot should be, or it should just be basically as simple as it is a headshot?
So again, it depends on where you're going. Some casting directors would tell you, come dressed as the character, assuming you got a character Bible, which a lot of times you don't. It depends on what stage in your acting career you are at.
Yeah.
But if you did get any sides beforehand, or some kind of a description of the character, try and come dressed as the character. Just a little bit, not a full, but something that would symbolize what the character is all about.
Yeah.
So, for example, and in your headshots, to your question, maybe bring two types of headshots. One that is the neutral you, and one that is a certain more comic or more dramatic picture, depending on, again, what you're what kind of roles you're looking to get.
Yeah.
It's also like saying, when you're auditioning for an acting school, they always tell you come with a dramatic monologue and a comic monologue, because they want to see two colors of you, and those are the most drastic colors that you can bring, right?
Yeah.
Same for headshots. I can give you an example of a live audition, because lately we mostly do tape auditions.
Yeah.
But a live audition I went to recently, and I was given some kind of information about the character, mainly that she was a journalist.
Yeah.
In a war zone. And so I realized, I researched a little bit about war journalists, and I decided that this character for me is a bit rough.
Yeah.
What she would have to go through. And so I came dressed quite sporty, quite very simple clothes, and then I was told you have to smoke for the character.
Yeah.
I was told this during the audition. So during the audition, I had to pick up a smoke. I haven't smoked in 15 years.
Yeah.
I haven't smoked in 15 years. It was quite gross
Yeah.
at the beginning. Yeah, but you had to do it. I just had to do it. And so, yeah, that was an experience. It worked. It worked for me. Like the whole attitude I came with, that rough attitude and the clothing and everything, it worked. Not to mention that afterwards, working on the monologue and everything, I kind of became addicted to the smoking. It took me a few months to
Quit.
give it away again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so like
Anyway.
I mean you've been in some audition rooms and different casting directors, different producers, directors, they have devised, let's say, like exercises or things that they do to help them kind of recognize talent. Is there like a method or an exercise that you always try to give actors to help you find really promising actors?
There is something that I think sometimes actors miss on. This energy.
Yeah.
So I just remember like sometimes when I get casting calls, mostly for white actors at the moment, but even for Nigerian actors, because I coach a lot of actors, so people know I know a lot of young talents.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it will ask a certain accent, but I would always ask, what is the storyline? And then I would match it up to the energy of that person. So like I said, you come to an audition, your energy's there. But sometimes the character needs a certain energy you would have to maybe push through. Sometimes it would need a more subtle energy. You have to contain yourself a little bit more.
Yeah.
So that energy is something very delicate that an actor needs to be aware of. I think as an actor, it would be great to work on knowing yourself very well. Knowing yourself, knowing how you project yourself, knowing how you come across to people. Ask your friends and family, what kind of energy do I give off? Is it a calm one? Is it a lively one? Is it a funny one? Is it a serious one? We're people, so it can change. One day I wake up and I'm all giggly and all that, and the other day I wake up and I'm all like,
yeah.
So, it's different, and sometimes in an audition you would have to bring on an energy that we did not wake up with this morning, because that's what fits the character. Not just in an audition, even on a daily job, on set, or on stage, on set. And I think that's the most challenging thing an actor faces is that drive that they have to keep having within themselves, even after countless no's or countless, failures in a way.
Yeah.
You have to keep driving yourself. I think I lost you on that question. What was the question again?
I think it was basically if there's any exercise that you kind of use during auditions to, find separate people that are talented from the lot.
To separate the talented from the lot, it's something that you see. I mean, you can see.
Yeah.
You give them any text to read, and they get it. So forget how I differentiate talented from the lot. If you want to be successful as an actor, you have to get it. When I say get it, I mean pick up a script and understand the intonation, the meaning. What is this character after? And this is something that can come with practice. You just practice script after script after script. I keep telling my students, pick up a script and start reading, and don't come with your own written monologues. That's not acting. That's bullshit. I'm sorry. Nigerian actors do that a lot. I don't know why. You're coming to an audition, and you're giving me a monologue about, you know, you break up with your boyfriend, and I'm like, great, where's that from? Oh, I wrote it myself. That's not acting. I'm sorry. That's you pouring your heart at me
Yeah.
on my time. I'm not your psychologist. You know,
Yeah.
bring me a professional script and show me that you can tap into a real character.
Okay. Yeah. So you mentioned, you know, when casting, most filmmakers like to, you know, choose somebody that is, you know, easy to work with, that they come as they are, and then, you know, the director then gives directions and all that. You know, there are situations where maybe you have to cast a certain actor because you want a recognizable face, and then because of the kind of budget we work with in Nigeria, most productions can't really, you know, plan ahead of time. Let's say contact the actor 1 year or 6 months in advance and kind of book them, you know. So it ends up being that you're ready to make your film, and then you reach out to the actor, and then they're not available, and then it might keep going on. You might end up on your fourth choice, and the reality is that what that first person was going to give you is not what the fourth person is going to give you. But you know, you have to make your film. If you have a deadline or a timeline to work with, you have to move on. What do you think? Like, how do you you know, try to make things work, even though maybe the actor that you end up working with was not your original preference?
Choice.
Yeah.
I have to say it doesn't happen a lot. Usually on like you said, there's maybe two big types of productions. There's a low budget ones and a high budget ones. The high budget ones would normally time themselves around the actors that they want. And of course, you can always replace one with another. There's always good actors to find, especially in Nigeria. There's so much talent. But even when you go to the UK or US, over one role, you get 6,000 people
Yeah.
lined up for auditions. They all look the same, they all talk the same, you know, it's simple. But yes, obviously you have your first choice, second choice, third choice. I think, are you asking me as a director, what kind of point of view do you want me to give you here?
I think, yeah, like kind of the general experience, probably as a director and somebody with casting experience. So just your unique point of view on that.
Look, I'm always my ultimate guideline is telling the story truthfully.
Yeah.
And the way to tell my story is through the characters and the relationships between them. Character does not world. It lives together with other characters in the story.
Yeah.
Its personal experiences fed off of its relationships with others. So my guideline would always be, what is the relationship of this character with other characters? And essentially, what is the chemistry between this actor and the other actors he has to play with?
Yeah.
And if that synergy can exist, I've often found myself, as an actress even, doing exercises with my fellow actors to create that kind of relationship. Or even as an assistant director, creating little situations between my actors to create that kind of relationship that I feel is needed for this scene. And if you can do that, and you have a genuine connecting emotion between the two characters,
Yeah.
then you're good. So sometimes maybe you have to a little bit break out from your preliminary vision of a character,
Yeah.
and kind of look back at the whole story, the full picture, and then see how you fit it back in.
Yeah. Currently, like in Hollywood, I would say there tends to be like a lot of typecasting. So let's say you're looking for the femme fatale, you have somebody in mind. You're looking for maybe the boss lady. You have somebody in mind. How can actors, develop themselves to an extent that you know they can basically transform to a wide range of different actors. Like it happens in Hollywood, but it doesn't happen much in Nollywood because yeah, everybody has like the production team just want to get somebody that they have seen in that particular role and use them. Like how can the actor
Like,
present themselves in that way where they are open to transformation and yeah, they do it successfully.
remember what I said in the beginning, that casting directors want you to fit the role they have in mind, right?
Yeah.
They come with the state of mind of, yeah, I want you to be the one that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
if you're already the one that they're looking for, it's easy for them. It just makes their life easy. And sometimes people even write certain roles with a person's face in mind. Writing it, this is the character I have in mind. This is the actor. Sorry, the actor that I have in mind for this character. And so it's sometimes not even in their interest to go and start looking for somebody else because they already found the person.
Yeah.
I can tell you that in Hollywood, some actors had to turn down roles because they felt like it will stereotype them if they keep taking the same role again and again.
Yeah.
They would create projects for themselves in roles that they haven't been seen as yet in order to they would go to theater in order to break away from that typecast. Because in theater, it's easier for them to start off as something else and then be seen. But then Hollywood casting directors go and watch theater. I don't know if that's the case in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Well, they do now. Yes, they do now. Yes, they do. Because I don't know if you know, but I just came off the Terror Culture production of Deadly King's Horseman.
Yeah.
And we did have a lot of Nollywood people came and watched that one.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know if they do the same in other theaters, like Audition concepts, productions, etc.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good place. And I don't know if a lot of Nollywood actors go and do theater. But I know that that's how it's done in the UK and the US. Theater is a major part of an actor's journey in acting. Also in Israel.
Okay.
Don't forget, I come from Israel, so I also have that industry to look at.
Yeah.
Israel is very big in theater and in cinema.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So before we continue, can you tell us 3 random facts about yourself that not many people know?
Well, I love nature. I do horseback riding and off-road driving, like up in Rocky Mountains and deserts and stuff. Very adventurous.
Yeah.
I had a singing songwriting career as well before I came to Nigeria.
Yeah.
Apart from my theater career. And what else? I don't know, very sporty, I guess. I don't know. It's just yeah. I like to travel a lot.
Yeah.
And I've been to A lot of people think that, oh yeah, Omo Ghetto is when I started acting on Nollywood. But no, I
Yeah.
actually started in 2016 on a few TV shows and small film TV films and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. You mentioned that like in the US, the UK, theater is a big part of like the actor's career. Um, in Nigeria, not so much. Maybe it's starting to happen.
No, there are. It's not that it's not in Nigeria. There's a big theater industry, and a
Yeah.
lot of actors here do theater very, very well.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure that a lot of Nollywood actors also do theater.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so
That's what I'm saying.
with theater, you have to your stage or your audience are right there, and basically you have to do these very grand movements for them to get what you're doing. But with film, you're limited to the frame. So how can
True.
actors easily transition from theater to screen acting?
Well, it's like someone smart said it to me in a very concise way. In theater, you 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 take your energy outwards,
Yeah,
and in film, you take your energy inwards. The reactions are the same, the thought process is the same, but in theater, everything is out, and in screen, you have to contain it all
yeah.
in.
And yeah, I guess the eyes are like a very powerful tool for you. Yeah.
Yes, the eyes are a powerful tool of expression, both in theater and in film. But it's just that in theater, I would maybe add more head movements or hand movements. My energy would be up in my chest all the time,
Yeah.
you know? Whereas in film, I need a lot less energy. It would not be up in my chest, my upper chest. It would be like maybe my stomach.
Yeah.
The head wouldn't move. My eyes would only move a little bit. But then you're only looking at a very specific point when you're on screen, when you're on camera. You're looking right next to the camera.
Yeah.
Everything's happening right there. Whereas on stage, everything's happening all around you, you know?
Yeah. A lot of Nollywood films tend to be about adult, but when you look at the population, we have a very young population. There are not so many stories about young people, about children. For children that are interested in, becoming actors, what are like some steps that you encourage them to take in order to like set up their career and grow grow their acting capabilities?
I don't think there is not a lot of child actors. I think I know quite a bit of children in Lagos that are actors and are very
Yeah.
good. I can name five at the top of
Yeah.
my head right now. Okay.
So let's think about it like this. Nigeria has a population of 200 million. I mean, just compare like the availability of actors in Hollywood, like the wide range you can get, and compare that with Nigeria.
First of all, it's when you start comparing with Hollywood, there are two things I would bear in mind. Hollywood has a system
Yeah,
since the 30s of nurturing and grooming actors.
yeah,
The studios would take in people, not necessarily talented, but they look the way they like them to look, and they would teach them how to act and put them in their films and do a whole marketing campaign around them, put a whole team around them to create an image for them that would fit what the studio wants.
yeah,
And the studios would make money off of them. So that was back in the 30s. And that has been the case up until 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And so up until today, children are being groomed from a very young age, 5, 6, 7, to become Hollywood stars. And they keep putting them in films, and parents push their kids into auditions, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So Hollywood understands that, or Hollywood not understands, but Hollywood has created the reality where talents should be discovered at a young age and groomed from a young age, and so they can use them whenever they want to. Now, in Nollywood, as you know, things are not as easy as that. You don't have big studios grooming you. Nobody's grooming you. You're hustling for your own.
Yeah.
And yes, not every child and parent are brave enough and have the capability and access
Yeah.
to do that. When you live in Wari or you live in, even in Ibadan, if you're not in Lagos, in the heart of the industry, even in the States, if you're not in New York or in LA, it's harder to have access to that kind of system.
Yeah.
So here, you come to Lagos, 20 million people live here, and you want to make it in Nollywood. I think it's easier, to be honest. There's less competition. There's much less competition. If you want to be a child actor, you come to Lagos and your parents support you. It's support you not financially necessarily, but like they come with you and they help you get to places. They help you, have the, they take you on the bus to the audition, or they help you make the phone calls, or they go with you and stand behind you and give you that mental support, emotional support.
Yeah.
You can do this because it's scary. Even if you're an adult, it's scary. Not to say for a child. So you can do it, and then you get to know producers. It's easier to know producers in Nollywood than it is in other countries.
Yeah.
Really, it's so easy. You go to film festivals. You go to people who say, "I'm a child actor." They'll jump at you. They'll give you a chance. They want to see what you can bring to the table. They will give you a chance.
Yeah.
It's easier in Nollywood, to be honest.
Okay. I mean, so you went to acting school. How was that experience for you?
Eye-opening.
Okay, in what way?
I think I told you, my acting teacher was a very sensitive man. He, kind of like I'm saying about the producers here, he gave everybody a chance.
Yeah.
I was a bit of a judgmental person. I come from parents who are very judgmental, very critical and strict. My parents.
Yeah.
My house. Very strict. And suddenly I found this man who gives everybody a chance, who allows you to be who you are. Whatever you bring to the stage, it's fine. There's no rights or wrongs. There's no wrong answers. There's only different people, different attitudes, different thought process.
Yeah.
And then how to channel that into what is right for the story, what is right for this character, what is right for this exercise that we were doing. And so it was eye-opening experience for me. I was so relieved to learn that the world is not just black and white. It's not just right and wrong. There's just different, and everybody can learn.
Yeah.
See the smile on my face. It was like that.
Yeah.
It was a relief. It was discovery. I was happy. I was so happy.
What are some of the things that you did at acting school that, have always stayed with you, that you always try to do and remember when you're working on your projects?
There were a few exercises of improvisation that I really loved, that were so funny and created a great group atmosphere. I use them sometimes in my classes, in my master classes.
Yeah.
There were exercises that taught us to observe other people.
Uh-huh.
That I found to be very strong, and I use them till today. There were exercises that helped us observe ourselves as people. Just observe yourself, what triggers you. What do you feel at this point? And I think over time I learned even more to analyze that, and I've been passing it on to my students.
Yeah.
There were exercises that just taught us to break free from ourselves. You know, we all have our, like I said, I come from a strict home, and a lot of us do, and we have our walls that we built, or our boundaries. Okay, I have to follow it this way. I have to do this thing this way.
Yeah.
And so he gave us exercises that would actually allow you to break free and relax and just be open to everything that happens, and let your mind, just let it flow. Let yourself flow with whatever's happening around you.
Yeah.
And that's something very important for an actor. Very, very important for an actor. If you want to embody, it goes back to what you were asking me before. How do I now break out from the typecasting and do something else that is not me?
Yeah.
This is very important. You have that exercise that helps you break loose from your preconceptions and the way you were brought up to be, and your ongoing daily energy, and just be a clean slate, like a blank page today. Yeah. And start afresh.
Remarkable performances rely on the actors really getting into the material, having their take on it. How do producers and directors like safeguard actors? Different things have happened in people's lives that can be triggering, and also in situations where there's intimacy on screen. How best can the production team approach these scenarios?
That's a very tricky question. It's a very big question. We can have a whole podcast just on that issue. Yeah. First, yes. Well, triggers and intimacy are very different things.
Yeah.
First of all, let's talk about triggers for a minute.
Yeah.
I actually had that happen on set 2 years ago on a film that I was co-producing for Stanley Aquarium.
Yeah.
And he wanted the actor to cry, and it wasn't coming.
Yeah.
It wasn't coming. So I took him aside and I had a conversation with him, and together we found, it's called endowment.
Yeah.
Ivana Chubbuck talks about it a lot. She's a very known Hollywood acting coach.
Yeah.
Ivana Chubbuck. She's she broke out like 10 years back. But for me, I kind of take stuff that she does and stuff from Stanislavski's method and Stella Adler method, etc. And I put things together depending on what works for me in that situation, what works for the actor that I'm working with for that situation.
Yeah.
So endowment is a very strong tool where you basically take a person from your life or an experience from your own life that gives you that emotion that you want to convey in this scene. And you endow it on the character that you're talking to in this scene. Yes, there's actually an online YouTube video of the Stella Adler School where she actually explains how it's being done. She explains it in her way.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then Ivana Chubbuck has her way of explaining it, and we all have our own ways, it all depends on the person.
Yeah.
But it's basically taking from your life experience. Again, it's all different ways of saying the same thing. Stanislavski has said it, he was the first one to say it. It's all about using your personal experience to trigger the emotion that you need to have for that moment. And I did it with that actor. It was very, very concise. It was very momentary. It was very powerful. And he was very much taken by it.
Yeah.
And I think the brilliance of a director is to know how to bring that about while protecting the actor. So you know that you're triggering an emotional past in this person's life. And you still want to keep your actor intact because you know that in the next scene, you may not need that emotion. You may need something else. You know, we don't shoot chronologically.
Yeah.
So make sure you take care of that actor. Make sure, and that goes back to an interview we had with Amazon and FRIF in November this past year. And she was talking about, she comes from Amazon, the Department of Diversified Content,
Yeah.
diversity in content. And she was saying how there was one TV show they were shooting, and it was so emotionally packed that they had a mental therapist on set to work with the actors ongoingly on what's happening to them throughout the series.
Yeah.
Because when you get into the characters that much, you know, you're bringing a lot from your own psychic. And so, yes, they had somebody on set 24/7 helping those actors go through that. I think that is something that Nollywood can very much learn from. Not just Nollywood, a lot of other productions as well. Learn from and benefit from, and actors can benefit from as well. Yes, and storytelling can benefit from it as well.
Yeah. We have come to the end of this episode. Remember to rate and review the podcast. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Selego Film, and the podcast at the Naija Film Pod to share your feedback. You can now support the podcast by visiting the website to donate. See you on the next episode. Have a good one.